Alrighty, I think we're all
All right.
set.
All right.
Good morning, everyone. All right. So, hi, everyone that's watching right now or in the future. I'm Andrew Guidarelli. I run partnerships at Tuck. And so I've got two managing principals here. I've got Alex Tuck from Tuck and Jermaine Henry from Norris Technologies. So, should I say, we're with both founders. And I'd like to take this time to let them give themselves an introduction, and we're going to talk about the power of tech and project management in helping nonprofits accomplish their mission. So, Jermaine, do you mind introducing yourself and telling us a little bit about where you are, what you do, and why you founded Norris Technologies?
Okay. Yeah. Good. Hi everyone. I'm Jermaine Henry. I'm CEO and founder of Norris Technologies. Um,
So,
CEO and founder of Norris Technologies. Build technology platforms for nonprofits, uh, mostly to enhance their programs and also add automation. So yeah, and what really inspired me to start Norris was uh, just a need that we saw. So I've always done around social impact and nonprofit. When the opportunity to start a new company came around, I tapped into my deep network of social impact and nonprofit partners, and just saw the need for these technology platforms that can help to as I scale the mission. And my hypothesis around this is that technology platforms can really help to uh, provide scale and impact to nonprofits and the programs that they run. Yeah.
awesome. Thanks for that. I appreciate it. Alex, could you tell us a little bit about Tuck?
Yeah, sure. So Tech Consulting Group is a 60-person project management consulting firm, all US based. And we provide project management consulting to four verticals: healthcare, professional services, SaaS, and of course, nonprofit, which is our primary focus. It's our largest vertical in terms of total number of customers. And I started for several reasons. Back in 2019, I had a stint at several different management consulting firms, all great experiences in different ways. But something that I saw at all of those firms is that we didn't have the flexibility to really just drive social impact and work with high impact clients all the time. And that was something that I was passionate about. I started a nonprofit many years ago that's still running today that does microlending in Central America. And so I wanted to take that social mission, that social drive that I had previously, and apply it to the for-profit world. And now we're 6 years into really growing Tuck and having the impact that I was hoping to have with all those different experiences in the past. So thanks for having me, Andrew.
So, obviously, I met you. We're all colleagues and friends here, so I know both of y'all's backgrounds to some degree. So, both of you have had pretty extensive experience in both private and the nonprofit sectors, doing technology, consulting, project management. What do you think are the biggest challenges that your nonprofit clients are facing, like operationally, since you're in there working with them, building solutions, helping them create solutions? Alex, let's start with you.
Good question. I would say, yeah, every company has the same challenge, right? Like, and that is whether it's for profit or nonprofit, it's how do you further your mission with the limited resources that you have? And as you scale, those problems just get bigger, right? And so I would say for profit and nonprofit are very similar that way, where nonprofit might be a little bit different, especially in the context of technology and nonprofit, is that you have to be a steward of public funds, right? So you're getting donations. So you really, I mean, there's a microscope that's put on nonprofits that does not exist within the for-profit space. I would argue like an unnecessary microscope in a lot of cases. But that being said, lots of nonprofits, they have people that are doing project management, and they're actually pretty great at it. It's just that they don't have dedicated project managers. In terms of technology, there is investment in technology, and there's even discounts for folks to adopt the technology, but that rigor that happens on the for-profit side, where people actually like spend real dollars to implement technology in an effective way, that might not necessarily exist in the nonprofit space. And there could be a lot of like longer term savings if that investment was taken. So those are the two big areas I would say from tech and nonprofit that I'm seeing. It makes it a little bit different. How about you, Jermaine?
Yeah, so I 100% agree with that. I think those issues are very constant across the board. What I would also add to that, and it comes down to project management also, is the process for planning new projects, right? And I mean, that's what Tuck does, really, really come in and helping the nonprofits plan the projects. But the planning of new projects, planning of new initiatives, especially around technology, we've seen there's a gap there. And I don't think it's, again, solely nonprofit, right? I think it's just across the board. Organizations are still grappling with the process of seeing technology as not just a bubble, right? Like that's separate from the business, but integrated into the organizations. So the resources that are put around planning programs versus the resources that are put around planning technology projects are very different. And I see where that process could be improved. And what we've been doing from our side is very extensive design and discovery before every single project, right? We're talking a 4 to 6 week process of just going, doing product management and project management best practices to gather requirements, think about outcomes, think about workflows, think about how we measure impact and how things will actually play out over the term of the project. So yeah, that's the big thing I've seen, just that planning for projects. And I mean, I think as the consultants, as the partners that work with the nonprofits, our job is to kind of jump in and help that. Like it's a little bit of handholding before the project, but I think it leads to better outcomes for everyone.
Great. So I guess I'd like to get a little prescriptive right away and give away some advice to our audience. Gentlemen, so I'll ask both of you this question. Could y'all name at least one impactful tool or process that you don't see a lot of your nonprofit clients using that they should be using? Alex, I'll start with you.
Yeah, sure. This is where I put in my plug for ClickUp, right? But honestly, it really is probably 50% of nonprofits that I work with don't have some sort of work management tool or project management tool that they use. And without that, where it's being used consistently, I think executive directors, leaders within nonprofits miss the opportunity to have visibility across all of the work that's being done within the organization. And then at the actual individual level, whether it's a program director or program manager, having to go out there and help their clients, right? Like just managing all that work that's being done on a given day. They're doing it out of notebooks and, maybe a Excel spreadsheets, or maybe even a rogue ClickUp instance or Smartsheet instance, right? But it's not consistent across the entire organization. So if there's one single piece of technology that I would invest in at a nonprofit that I'm seeing not happen today, it's a work management tool.
And Jermaine, how about you? And it doesn't have to be specific. I know that we just went the brand name route, but I know that you guys are doing a bunch of things with nonprofits. Maybe one tool, process, procedure, a technology that you think would be transformative that nonprofits aren't really digging into yet.
Okay, no problem. So I might go a little bit off script. I'm a big tool guy. I love the tools. I have my own stack of things that I use on a daily basis. So I'm going to plug the easiest one, and then which is going to always be ChatGPT. As we're talking about just planning, I always see ChatGPT as a tool, right? I call it the 595 rule, right? Like ChatGPT, you do 5% of the work up front, it does 90% of the work, and then your job is to clean up the remaining 5%, right? So it helps a lot with planning. It has expertise from obviously from trillions from trillions of bytes of data. So I think it's a simple tool. It's very straightforward, very accessible for a lot of persons. I'd say if there's something that's unfamiliar to you, it is a good way to put in what you know, ask the right questions, and at least get a framework for even engaging consultants like us, right? So that helps a lot. Then the tool that we talk about and I've shared with you guys, which is Bolt.new, and this is like deep down in the technology side, but Bolt is a platform that allows non-technical persons to just put in ideas and be able to visually create something, right? And that's small prototypes, wireframes, etc. We can take that output from ChatGPT, put it into Bolt. But what these things do help you to do is, one, become more comfortable with the tools, but also you have a basis for the projects, basis for direction before you even start a project, right? And then I plug in my own tool, which is SiteScribe. So for nonprofits, even website planning, which can take hours, we've built a small tool called SiteScribe that you can utilize to just put in some information. It generates a website brief for you with the pages, branding, all information kind of and considerations you need for a website, and whether it's redesigning or creating a new one. So yeah, I have my small AI tools that I always, love to suggest to organizations.
Plus one vote here for building GPTs and having it drive work. I have a couple of teammates that are just purely GPTs that help me do a lot of different things within the organization. I think nonprofits should. I've actually seen quite a few nonprofits that have adopted it and saved a lot of time just by moving things forward that way.
Yeah, I mean, just to say that, I think it's important as things evolve to be involved in the progression of technology, right? Even within our organizations, we are trying to do different things, trying to learn different things that can help us to enhance the work that we're doing. I always suggest it to our nonprofit partners, even if you aren't using it formally for a project, get comfortable with the technology as things evolve. It will help you to even think about ways that you can structure your programs, think about ways that you can increase impact, think about ways that you can even build tools that enhance the mission, which is the main point of using technology, right? It's not just to throw it in and say we use technology, but it's to enhance what you're already doing.
So now that we've uncorked the AI genie bottle after only 13 minutes of conversation, I'd like to ask both of you, where do you think AI could go in the context of helping nonprofits build their mission? So I think right now you both touched on, to some degree, tasking, giving AI some rote, easy, busy work, which could save a client, overhead on administrative stuff. Where do you think AI could go specifically in the nonprofit world and be actually helpful to the nonprofit itself and to its constituents? Alex, I'll start with you.
Yeah, good question. That's $1 million question, actually, or the multi-million-dollar question. We're seeing budgets freeze across the entire country right now. People are tightening the purse strings as well. We have to look for ways at our nonprofits to save money, right? And the two ways that I always recommend nonprofits do that are to map out your business processes and see where there's opportunity for automation. And then how can you leverage AI within the tools that you have, and also within some other tools that you might invest in, right? So a professional license for ChatGPT is $60, right? 2 seats, $60. You're in with that. We have ClickUp, and so we use the built-in AI within there. A nonprofit could use AI the exact same way that we use it within our organization. You can search straight from the search bar and ask it a natural language question, and it can go and search your entire any connected system, from ClickUp to Microsoft to Google Drive to anything else. It can find any document within seconds. Like, think about how long it took to find that marketing brief that we created, 3 months ago, or who's that client that we did this project for. You can't remember it, right? But you can type it in to the AI within ClickUp and find it in seconds, right? So that's where I think you're going to see savings is by connecting the right data and learning how to prompt properly, creating prompt libraries within your organization where people can come and know exactly where to prompt and how to prompt and what kind of questions to ask to get consistent results. So that's my AI take. How about you, Jermaine?
Yeah, I want to do the micro and the macro. The micro is we're going to see we're going to see nonprofits just being more efficient, being able to do more in a shorter amount of time. So yeah, that's definitely the micro. We see the tools, all the tools that we're using now integrate AI. If you use Salesforce has Agentforce. If you use if you use ClickUp, have AI in that. You use HubSpot, you have AI in that. So the tools are going to evolve, right? So one big one I've seen is Bonterra. Bonterra has been doing a lot of work around AI. They're building AI agents. They have millions of transactions that have happened across their platform, and they're utilizing that data to help nonprofits to make decisions, to see benchmarks. So we're seeing big data now becoming accessible in a digestible way for nonprofits, helping them to make decisions and through tools that they're familiar with, right? So again, the same advice from before is get familiar, right? As the tools that you're using integrate AI into it, just experiment with it, use it, see how it enhances the workflow that you're already using. And then I think that's a good introduction into even thinking about how you can be more efficient generally within the organization. And then the big opportunity I see, which is the macro. Well, the data is the macro, but there's another opportunity, which is for the nonprofits who actually do have the resources, thinking about how they can utilize AI tools or how they can build AI tools for themselves to scale their programs, right? So we're thinking about nonprofits that provide community support, right? There are ways to integrate AI chatbots into your community support, helping people to think about program eligibility, resources, emergency resources 24/7, right? Without having to build a whole team for support, right? Or if you have a few people, you can have that platform take the FAQs and the basic information and provide resources, and then have escalation up to humans to provide more personalized support. But there's that big opportunity to provide impact at scale that has always been my hypothesis around why technology is important in the nonprofit sector, and with AI, I see that being even more true.
Thanks. At this point, I'd like to remind our audience that we do have a Q&A section. You are welcome to submit questions, which will be answered by these two founders as opposed to a chat bot, we promise. So just throwing that out there. Hopefully this conversation will spark some additional inquiry. So going forward, so gentlemen, we're both, you're both leading companies that serve nonprofits in a consultative fashion. And I'm sure for some nonprofits who may eventually watch this, they've never engaged with a consultant before, especially a technology consultant. So I'd like to ask each of you, what are some good ways of engaging a consultant that make sure that you get a productive response and you make sure the consultant actually focuses on what you need from them? Alex, do you want to take that first?
Sure. It can be intimidating to invest in a consultant. I'm doing a $20,000 basement renovation right now, and that is quite intimidating to both my wallet and also to all the things that open up. But when it comes to tech consulting, I think the key is to try to focus on what is the business challenge you're trying to solve, and then worry about the technology later, right? I think a lot of organizations are like, hey, there's this cool thing that came out. I want to use this cool thing, right? Because they had a good ad or because they saw a demo and it looked great. But I would say, the first thing that we always do as a consulting firm is we sit down and we map out the business process just within a business process mapping tool like Visio or ClickUp or Miro, and then we look at the problems that they're trying to solve. Then we start talking about how you can implement that within the technology, right? And so I think it's a big one. So as you're trying to assess, what new consultant you might want to bring in, just figure out what you're trying to solve from a business problem perspective. How about you, Jermaine?
So I think you've handled everything from the internal side. What I probably want to hop on is how you vet. How do you vet the vendor? How do you vet your vendors? How do you vet your partners? Right. Big thing is see their process. Ask them about their process. Have them explain their process to you. Right. And then you have to look how their process aligns with how you work and the results you're looking for. Very important, right? You can have the best consultant in the world, but their work style and your work style for your organization doesn't produce the results, right? So that's one. And I would say always have an evaluation period, like this design and discovery process that I speak about, right? Like we go in and you have, a 2 to 6 week period in which we're working together so we can understand the work. You have to understand what goes into the work, right? From your organization, and also what's needed from your organization, and also what's needed from the consultant. So that alignment at first around the work styles and how they work, how you work, etc. And then also that period of evaluation where you can get even more alignment on how things are going to be executed, what the goals are, etc. Right? We can't just say, okay, hey, we're going to meet today and let's start the project tomorrow. A consultant would love that. They'd be like, hey, let's meet today, jump in tomorrow, get paid tomorrow, and everything is good. Get that deposit. But that's not the way to go around it. That's not the way to go about it. I think the best way is a slow, intentional approach. Should never be rushed. The relationship that you're going into is significant, right? Both of you are investing time. Clients investing money. You're investing money. Into your team, to yourself, everything that's going on, right? So with that relationship, I think it has to be really intentional, and there has to be a period in which you evaluate how you're going to execute together and ensure there's alignment on that side. So always say that.
Awesome. Thanks. That's great advice from both of you. Okay, so I'd also like to hear, because we haven't heard it yet, about an example of a client that you know of or actually worked with that used technology in an especially impactful manner. So hopefully this will be a success story from your side. Jermaine, can you start us?
Yeah, no problem. So a client that comes to mind right now is the Iowa Black Doula Collective. So they're a nonprofit. They provide doula matching services to families in the Iowa area. So we've worked with them before, on a smaller scale. They came to us and we were having some conversations about, how do we improve the doula matching process? How do we implement technology and use it to, provide that scale, right? So we did a design and discovery process with them. We aligned on the users, the goals, the processes, their business, their actual processes internally, and at what points the platform will integrate with that. We built the brand new platform, we launched it, and when we started the project, their doula matching time was up to 48 hours. After the project, the time reduced to 30 minutes, right? So that's like a 90% increase in efficiency. So super happy about that. Over a 3-month period, they were able to serve over 100 families that are, that's 100 families that get matched with doulas to have a great birth experience. 100 families that have safety, through a pregnancy, have guidance through a pregnancy, right? So super amazing impact, I think, to reduce that time, but also now to have an efficient way for families to just, hop in and, get matched with somebody who can help them through probably one of the most stressful periods of their life. So that's something. And we have, a few other projects that we've done like that, especially in maternal health, that we've seen just that impact by mapping the process, designing, working together, aligning, building a platform, and then measuring results after. So yeah, super happy about how that one went.
That's awesome. That's
Jimmy,
wonderful.
It's so cool. It's so cool to see a nonprofit that you would never think would be leveraging technology, or definitely not leveraging it the way that you just described, but they're able to save like so much time. And they're a very, like, what I would consider pretty low tech client. Yeah, that's awesome. That's really cool. Andrew, if you'll humor me, I'd love to do 3, like, the technologies ClickUp, you guys know, like, we're number 1 ClickUp implementer in the world for nonprofits, right? And so ClickUp is really our tool to help get nonprofits like 0 to 1 within a few weeks. 3 quick stories, Andrew. So one is Common Good Vermont, VT, is an organization here in Vermont. It was one of our pro bono clients. They help nonprofits across Vermont learn about different grant opportunities, give trainings, et cetera. And they also connect nonprofit consultants together. And it hasn't been done in 20 plus years, but Vermont did not have a nonprofit conference, which is unbelievable to me. And so they did. They wanted to put on the first one in over 20 years, and they pulled it off. And not only did they pull it off, they were concerned about not getting enough people there, not getting enough sponsors. They sold out sponsor spots within weeks of launching. And we helped, we got them into ClickUp, and then we also helped them PM the entire process. And Emma did a great job putting it on from Common Good Vermont. But that was a really neat experience to be a part of that and to be able to contribute in ever so small way to the work that they were able to achieve there. So that was one. The other ClickUp story is Partnership Project. It's a fiscal sponsor organization. They dole out grants to other nonprofit organizations. Within, I think it was like 3 weeks, we were able to automate their entire grant application to distribution process. $22 million worth of grants divvied out. One grant manager was able to support 40 different employees at that organization, all through this automated system of like forms and automated distribution. So that was really neat. And then there's a healthcare company that's also a nonprofit called Futuro Health that just did, like, again, it's a testament not just to the work that our consultants did, but like also to the commitment that the nonprofits put into investing in the technology. They were able to, we onboarded over 50 people over at Futuro. We had 23 different programs that got onboarded into ClickUp, all within like less than 6 weeks, all the way end to end. So that was just 3 really neat success stories where folks that, and again, like pretty low tech nonprofits were able to adopt this technology and really accelerate the work that they were able to do.
That's awesome. Thank you, both of you. So I do want to honor, we do have some comments and questions. I want to honor at least one of them. So for both of you, here's something. We have a viewer asking, are there any other interesting tech platforms you've seen, as in things that you haven't mentioned yet, thank you for putting it on screen. Are there any interesting tech platforms that you think a nonprofit could adopt for a quick win? They give the example of something like Motion to automate your existing schedule. or something like Orchestry, which I don't know about Orchestry, that builds on your existing M365 data. So this is a lightning round, gentlemen. Jermaine, do you have any quick
Yeah,
wins?
no. So, some like a simple win. Let me think. So one big thing, and it's not very complicated. It might take a little bit. It might take a little bit of work. But Make.com or Zapier, both of them are like automation builders. Very low tech, pretty simple to string together a few things. But if you're able to map out a few processes and see how different things integrate, you can think about utilizing platforms like that that can connect the existing tools that you already have, right? So your ecosystem, if you have to export something from here to here and then move it here and have these approvals, Make.com might be an interesting platform to play around with just to see how it can help you with some automation across the board. Anything from you, Alex?
Yeah, no, I think I love that pitch for those that are a little bit more tech savvy. I'll stick with the two that I keep repeating over and over again. I think having a work management system like ClickUp, it has a free version. You can go download it. Just start tracking your work and driving your work that way. That's one thing. And then if you're not using GPTs in a real way, like ChatGPT, like please just go do it. If you're worried about the privacy stuff, like you can buy the pro version, and that doesn't train the models at all. If you go with the free version, you can just stay away from the privacy stuff completely and just start practicing learning how to use prompts a little bit better to enhance your work.
All right, so gentlemen, I think we are actually a little over time. I thank you both for your participation in this, folks. So we're welcome to answer any follow-up questions. I believe both of you are active on LinkedIn. Is that correct?
Yeah.
All right, and we'll we'll be posting some cross links to your content on the Tuck Consulting page and also on the Norris Technologies page after this.
Yeah. And can I just do a quick plug? Jermaine and I are both going to be in Baltimore in a couple of weeks at the Nonprofit Technology Conference. For all of you nonprofit folks that are looking for advice around best technologies to use, it's a great conference to attend. So if you're going to be there, please reach out.
Yeah. And one final.
Wonderful rest of your week. Jermaine, thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it. Alex, you as well. Take care.
I guess.